These protests have been spreading like wildfire across college campuses across the United States. And the media really hasn't been talking about it. So that's why we're going to be talking about it here. This all started at Columbia University. There was a pro-Palestinian pro-Palestinian student protesters set up a tent encampment at the Ivy League University in New York. Police first tried to clear the encampment on April 18th when they arrested more than 100 protesters. But the move backfired, inspiring students across the country and motivating protesters at Columbia to regroup. So this incident where they arrested 100 Columbia students has sparked an even bigger movement. This like backlash has come. And so I want to go through some of these because it's not just one or two. It's really like, it's proliferating a lot. And, you know, I feel like by the time you guys hear this, hopefully this list will be even longer. So first and foremost, we have the University of Southern California. They were already in some drama because they had some issues with their valedictorian, their pro-Palestinian valedictorian, and they canceled her speech because, you know, they cited safety concerns, quote, safety concerns. But, you know, what the pro-Palestinian valedictorian is saying is that she feels like it's because she was pro-Palestinian that they canceled the speech. And so the university students there decided to protest. So that campus is on fire right now. The University of Texas, there are protests there. Students at George Washington University set up a tent encampment. This is another thing. A lot of them are doing these tent encampments. So it's not just they're protesting, like they are digging in. They are ready to go. And by ready to go, I mean they are ready to stay. Okay? For liberation. Harvard University in Cambridge, Massachusetts locked most of its gates into its famous Harvard Yard, right? Ahead of classes Monday and limited access to those with school identification. The school also posted signs warning against setting up tents or tables on campus without permission. Those efforts did not stop protesters from setting up a camp with 14 tents, which came after a rally against the university's suspension of the Harvard Undergraduate Palestine Solidarity Committee. Go ahead, Harvard. Protesters at the University in Northern California used furniture, tents, chains, and zip ties to block entrances to an academic and administrative building. I love this. There's something about locking somebody out of their own damn building that just hits for me, you know? I don't know what it is. I'm like, they just were like, you know what? If we don't get what we want, you don't get inside. That's Northern California. 108 people were arrested at an encampment at Emerson College. At New York University, an encampment set up by students swelled to hundreds of protesters. In Atlanta, police and Georgia state troopers dismantled a camp on Emory University's quadrangle. Northwestern University changed its student code of conduct to bar tents on its suburban Chicago campus as student activists set up an encampment. Groups including Jewish Voice for Peace and Educators for Justice in Palestine said the encampment on the Evanston campus was, quote, a safe space for those who want to show their support of the Palestinian people, end quote. The students want the university to divest from Israel, among other things. Then there were protests at Yale, the Fashion Institute of Technology. Shout out to the fashion girlies. They were like, you know what doesn't slay? The war in Gaza. Okay, so we're gonna put down our pinking shears. Yes, I remember pinking shears from the one semester of home economic I took as a kid before they completely canceled home economic in all of America. You know, pinking shears, the one with the little zigzags, you know, so that it doesn't fray. Anyway, they were like, give us our pinking shears. Let's put down our sewing machines and let's fight for freedom. So shout out to FIT, the fashion girlies said no. There was also an encampment at the City College of New York in Harlem. Shout out to Harlem Gang. An encampment at Indiana University, Bloomington, and Michigan State University's East Lansing campus. So these are just a handful of the protests and the tent encampments that have popped up in universities across the United States. Gen Z is rising up, and I love that for them.